Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to check out HBAR's price chart, and what we talked about in the previous video seems to be playing out quite nicely. And the question for today's update is this: can we argue around the current area, maybe even a bit lower? Not to worry, we're gonna have our final low, and from these regions we're gonna get a very strong bounce back. So are you ready? Let's dive in and see what is going on. And if you remember, in the previous HBAR update we were around, I think, here, and the idea was that these lows are like extremely close together, and odds are a lot of short-term traders open some long positions in here in hope that we get a very strong bounce back and for them to make quite a good bit of money. And there's a very high chance that most of them at least put their stop under the lows down here, and the price will unfortunately have a tendency to destroy those short-term traders. So that's why I said odds are in the short term you are actually going to see a move down in order to clear all the lows. And as you can see, if I just hide everything, well, we did get our move on the downside. Now let's zoom in more and count some waves and see what is happening. So you see, in here we can consider many different caps. For example, one scenario suggests that this is one correction for two, another move down into wave 3 to about this point, and this is ABC into wave 4, followed by, let's just take this one, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into our wave 5. Let's say we're gonna have like another very small move, and then that will probably be it, the low of our correction in form of an ABC, which on a higher degree might be into the Y leg of this WXY, potentially in form of a double zigzag. Can we have other possibilities? The answer is yes. And for example, you can say maybe we are having, let's just do this one and also this thing. Okay, 5 wave down in this phase only, and on a higher degree it's going to be into a wave 1 followed by a correction for wave 2, and this move down is going to continue quite a bit, and it's going to be into a larger degree wave 3 followed by that correction for 4, and then again we're going to have yet another move down into wave 5. Basically this scenario suggests our move up in Hedera is going to continue a little bit. Question: which scenario is going to be in play? You see, we really cannot say anything for sure because simply there is no certainty in any market at any given moment. We are only allowed to consider different possibilities, but I think there are some signs in here that you can pay attention to them and based on them argue which possibility may happen in the short term. So first things first, in terms of classic technical analysis, meaning supports and resistances, I think you can argue that this is going to be now some sort of a support. And also in terms of classic patterns, it's not necessarily the most beautiful pattern, but I think you do have an argument for this thing to be a head and shoulder structure. However, this isn't confirmed yet. When will it get confirmed? When we get a break of our neckline right in here, followed by that we do a pullback, and then we get a continuation of the move down. If you are a fan of classic patterns, then okay, at that point, for your target, you need to measure the height of your pattern from here to about the lows, and then put this thing at your breaking point. As you can see, this is giving you like a 15 cents H-bar, which I do think it's actually possible. And overall, it's not even going to hurt the bullish case at all. Why? Because according to our bullish count, this is from the lowest low down here about 12.7 cents, a very clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up into a wave 1, followed by that this whole move is going to be a correction structure into wave 2, and this is the key, pay attention. Wave 2 is usually known to be quite a strong and deep move on the downside, so we may even very well go to about the 15 cents region, and at that point it's just going to be a deep correction. And guess what's next? Yep, a strong move on the upside into wave 3 and 4 and 5. So even if we confirm this head and shoulder structure, it's not going to be overall a bad sign at all. It just means in the short term our move down is going to continue. Do we have some other important signs to pay attention to? I think so, yes. Let's go on daily time frames, see what is happening in terms of indicators. Okay, so as you can see, in MACD and stock RSI, we are having at the same time sell signals, which isn't necessarily an ideal sign, indicating probably our move down is going to continue. Now, if you want to go according to indicators and you don't even care about what is going to happen in the next couple of weeks, may I suggest just wait a little bit more and see buy signals in these two indicators at the same time in weekly time frame, because in most cases whenever you are having buy signals in these two indicators, that is actually going to lead to some very strong moves on the upside. Now let's go on some lower time frames and see what is going on in H4. It seems like that we may get a buy signal in here soon, but it's not really that important. What really matters is what is going on in H1 time frame. Why is that? Let's just ignore a stock RSI. In fact, let's just actually delete it so we can see the chart a bit better. There we go. What do we have in here? This is a low, the other one is a lower low. However, in MACD, as you can see, this is a low, the other one is a higher low. So we do have a beautiful looking bullish divergence, which by itself is actually a rather optimistic sign, suggesting bears are kind of running out of steam. However, if we get a move down in Hedera, and in that move, we get a break of the divergence line, that's actually going to be a very strong bearish sign, suggesting this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this deep move down scenario is going to be in play. And again, we may even go to somewhere around the 15 cents region. So if you want to know whether from the current area or maybe from quite a bit lower, we are going to form our final low, I think you need to, number one, pay attention to this important area and see are we going to get a break of it or not. And number two, pay full attention to what is happening in MACD in H1 timeframe. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Hedera. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.